Association, and we have one of our newest members to the association, Miss Shereese Muhammad. Shereese, tell our audience a little bit about, and tell me, because I really don't know uh, about what your business is about, because I know you from another life,
Right.
doing other things.
Okay. So my name is Shereese Hameed-Muhammad. You know that. I am in wellness. I decided to start a company called Peace for Your Pieces. That company basically is set up to allow people to find what peace looks like in their life, mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. So it's a holistic approach.
You say
Well,
in their life.
yes, in their life.
Everybody has their own life, and they need to find their own peace.
Exactly. What I've discovered is most people don't even know where to start. And
Oh,
so the goal is to get someone on a path of wellness and healing, but you have to start having those honest conversations first.
do you think we have a lot of honest conversations in 219 going into 220 for real?
I don't. I think that we have a lot of politically correct conversations. I think a lot of people are easily triggered when it comes to their feelings. And so, with that being the case, we don't always create an environment that's acceptable to have taboo conversations.
Tell me this: do you feel that in general, I'm primarily concerned with the African American community, but this applies to the whole community. With all the pressure, day to day pressure that is on a individual in society, and especially being African American, finding peace is hard.
Mm.
And what do you
It
what do you
is.
have to say to that to our audience?
Hmm.
Help them, help me, please.
Well, I think that we want to make sure that you understand what peace really is because we have a misconception that peace is happiness and peace is joy and peace is all of those things that keep you right here emotionally, but that's not necessarily the case. You're going to live a life that has ups and downs. So being able to cope and have coping mechanisms when you have your low points is one of the things that really is decisive as to whether or not you have peace in your life. And you can get through those low points with skills and some things in your toolbox to help you to get back to the high points.
I want to go back to that, but because I knew you in this other life, tell our audience what you did in that other life, and
How I got here?
yeah, and we move forward.
Sure. I was in management for 14 years. I started at 18 years old at a bank and realized I was really good at it. And I grew my career quickly in management. And at one point, I had about 30 people that reported to me in a very high stress environment. In the span of 1 year, I had almost 4 or 5 people in the span of 1 year out of 30 almost commit suicide or tried to commit suicide or had a family member commit suicide, some sort of drastic emotional response or a mental stress response. And that is when I took it to the company, and the company did not handle it like I felt they should have,
Mm.
didn't take it as seriously. And that's when I decided to figure out something else that I can do to help people who are.
That's right. When I basically met you when you were at that
Mhm.
company and so forth, and I was wondering why did you leave that
Mhm.
good job?
It was a good job financially.
Yeah, right.
Yes,
Well,
absolutely.
right. Well, most people, like what I do, they don't understand. If it's not financially rewarding, that that this is my piece.
And that's the thing. I was my first client. I had to evaluate my life. I had to see what it was that really made me tick, what made me happy, what made me sad, and when it was all said and done, what mattered if I was no longer here. And so that job was great. I had great PTO, time off. I had vacation. I had a company credit card. They would send me on trips to go work, but the stress level was so high, and the impact that I saw people have was detrimental. And so I decided to minimize my bills, and that took a lot because I had a full life change.
Hmm.
I had to downsize my house. I had to set my children up for a change in what it looked like spending money. Um, it was work. I had to see what if I cut my money in half, what would my life look like, and am I willing to do that for my peace and my happiness and to start this company? And I was. And I
Some of the clients that you work with, you just described a host of changes that you had to make. Uh, are most of your clients willing to make those changes to get, because a lot of what in my life deals with financial.
Yes and no. I have two different types of clientele that I realize I'm working with. I have the clientele that are at a space where they're actively trying to change their life, and they have hit a rock bottom, or they've hit a space where it's like, okay, something has to go, or something has to change. But then I also have a clientele, because I have a business clientele, which means I contract with the business and I offer my services to either their employees or to their staff or to their participants.
Who are your main?
My main
Yeah.
clientele for business is Margaret's Place. It's an adult recreation and wellness center, and they service disabled and elderly, literally ages 18 to 99. So that's a huge gap there, with autism and mental disabilities, age, health-wise, as far as hearts and diabetes, all of those different, a plethora of issues. That group is not actively seeking wellness, but the company wants to offer it to them. Yes, and
right,
that group is different, because I actually use the contract money that I get from the company to pay other partners to come in and provide the wellness services.
All right. As I said off camera, there's one or two people that we've done advertisement for that I think they have facilities with elderly in that I think that because you're on the Kansas City Business Association show that we're going to try to tie you into them to see whether they could use your services.
Yeah, and the mindset behind health and wellness doesn't stop at a certain age. I've seen so much growth and better
You work
life.
with any youth?
I do. I have a couple individual clients that are not tied to a company that reached out to me due to bullying, suicide rates that have skyrocketed for years.
Boy, we just had a program on with health agency north of the river. I had no idea. You see it in the, on your news feeds and what have you, but this teen suicide is
it's a different cultural
epidemic.
mindset. It's an epidemic. It is. My youngest that I will work with is 4. I have a sect or a service that I offer to parents and their children to come in together. And then if they want to branch off and separate, that's all dependent on how comfortable the child gets. And and the parents generally are very comfortable within the first couple sessions. The children, once they really want to open up, that's when they kick their parents out.
Have you tried? Have you seeked any business with the child services in the court system?
I have not done that yet. I actually have a partner that I'm working with that is trying to
because they need those services badly.
They're trying to create. What happens is, Mr. Nelson, when you're dealing with wellness, because it's such a broad spectrum, you have people that are stuck on, are you a psychiatrist? Are you a psychologist? What they need to understand what it is that you do. As a life coach, which is what I am, I stay in my lane. So if I work with people and I help them to create a team. So if they have doctors and psychologists and psychiatrists and a life coach, your team should all be working together to help you towards a certain goal. That's my job, is to make sure that you know what that team looks like. You have an effort and a plan for yourself, not everybody else telling you what to do with your life. So I am kind of a passenger to help people to drive and to see the things that they're not seeing in their life.
In closing, is there anything that you would like to let our audience know, and how may they contact you?
Sure. In closing, I would like to let the audience know that the things that we consider taboo, especially in the Black community, whether that be the secrets that we keep from ourselves, from others, the image that we have to put on for um, whomever is unhealthy and is unsafe, and it's time for us to change that culture. Um, there's plenty of ways and a multitude of people that are willing to help with that culture change. I'm one of them. You can reach me at 816-388-0433. That is a business number, but it does come directly to my phone. And my website is peaceforyourpieces.com, and that's spelled PeaceForyourPieces.com.
And as always, in closing, when you invest in your community, you're really just investing in yourself.